Yeah, okay. Carter, what the hell was that?
You are Locked On Blue Jays, your daily Toronto Blue Jays podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to Locked On Blue Jays. Thank you for making Locked On Blue Jays your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Today's episode brought to you by eBay Motors. From brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride or die alive. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit only available for U.S. customers. I don't even know. What? We just supposed to get on here every day and say, what do we talk about, Carter? What do we talk about? There's no hits. There's no stolen bases. We're barely even walking. We're just losing. It's just loss. Davis Schneider being a beauty. Loss. Everybody else being terrible. Loss. It's deteriorating my mental health. It's slowly losing it. We're in a basement right now, and I'm about to crawl through this window and go sit in the street, I think.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at game 1 and game 3, you have one hit to talk about. It's a Daulton Varsho fastball inside. He honestly gets beat by the pitch, but he kind of just flares it out to left field and with his speed gets to 2. Obviously, nothing happened with that. The rest of the Blue Jays decided to take the whole series off. It seemed like, other than Davis Schneider in game 2, honestly, for me, this is 26 innings of pretty bad baseball. Not a lot of good things to take from it. Obviously, you have Davis Schneider saving the season. If you get swept by this Astros team the way we played this series, we're lucky we even got one game. Not a lot of good things to say about this. Go Davis Schneider. That's all I got to say. Good job, Davis Schneider. Thank you for at least saving my sanity a little bit talking about this Toronto Blue Jays team every day.
I hope everybody has a terrible day tomorrow except for Davis Schneider. Everybody else have a terrible, terrible Thursday. And our listeners, just the Blue Jays team, have a terrible Thursday, except for Davis Schneider. Beauty. No, we were talking, Carter, honest to God, you put me or you up there, give us 54 at bats, we might get more hits than this Toronto Blue Jays team did in these 2 games, or the 2 games we lost. It's horrific. I could fight off 2 pitches, I think, and get lucky. That's pretty much what they're doing up there.
Well, you think with 55 at-bats, you get the one Daulton Varsho hit, obviously just had 27 in that no-hit game. Not a lot going on there. I think we had 2 walks that game with George Springer. Both of them happened to be a double play after that. You give us the opportunity for 55 at-bats. Maybe we get one. We just flare one, hopefully. Maybe we get a hit by pitch. I think we probably get outwalked by the Toronto Blue Jays. But maybe we get lucky and just get a ground ball through the infield, something like that, a little flare opposite way. You might as well, if you're the Toronto Blue Jays, you got to switch something up. Close your eyes, maybe. Maybe do some hit some beach balls, just get the confidence up in batting practice. I don't know what the fix is here because it didn't look like the Toronto Blue Jays were chasing a lot. Just looked like they were getting beat by either really good pitching or this team is even worse at hitting than I thought they were. But let's go into the biggest question that I had going into this game. I think a lot of other Toronto Blue Jays fans will agree with this. And we've talked about it yesterday. Davis Schneider wins you a baseball game, probably not deserving. Steals a game from the Houston Astros, has a home run with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. And what do? You leave him on the bench the next day. Braden, I know there has been some talk about John Schneider. He said that he's open to getting flack about this. Rightfully so, because I don't get why he's not in the lineup. But I'll go over what John Schneider said on why Davis Schneider is not in the starting lineup. He goes, he's a big part of what we're doing. 6 games in, you want to just stay consistent. So there does come a time where you don't want somebody to sit too long. It's like him and Bogey. I don't know. Do you have anything to add about this? I think this is a whole lot of just nonsense to me. He's not really answering any question here.
John Schneider's yapping. He's trying to defend himself, and he's yapping right now. I don't need to hear him. I'm pissed. I'm not happy. We called it after yesterday's episode. We said Davis Schneider's going to be riding the pine. Okay, thanks for having a great game. Here's the bench. Take it with you when you leave. That's pretty much where we're at. Yeah, this is just ridiculous. I don't know what else to say. I've been all over Twitter the past day. Braden Fabuosco, if you want to see me complain. This is just crazy. Your two best hitters right now are sitting on the pine. And instead you want Varsho and IKF in there and Kevin Kiermaier. Like, what are we doing?
That was another thing that John Schneider went into. He said that he liked the matchups better with Cavan, Biggio, and IKF compared to Davis Schneider and Ernie Clement. Cavan Biggio, I guess you can give them that one because it's a lefty bat going against a right-handed pitcher. But in what world is an IKF matchup better than Davis Schneider or Ernie Clement against a right-handed pitcher? I don't understand in any world. Maybe you're in the playoffs and you're going on a playoff experience. You want IKF in there. But even then, I think that's a stretch. That's just complete nonsense to me. I think I agree with you. He's just yapping. I don't know what analytics he's basing these decisions off of.
Yes,
I am not seeing it whatsoever.
So to be fair, John Schneider, there is some merit to what he's saying. Davis Schneider doesn't hit the high heat. He throws a lot of high heat, so it wasn't a great matchup for him to begin with. But I don't know. This guy just walked up the game for you. He's kidding. IKF hasn't done a ton. Throw Davis in there and let him figure it out in battle. But you're playing him every second game. How is he supposed to get into any kind of routine? I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated because all the fans are seeing the same thing, saying the same thing. And you know what? Granted, it could not work out at all. Davis could have had a terrible game. Ernie could have had a terrible game. And we could be having the same conversation. But we won't know that. After coming off a huge home run to win us that game and to throw the bench at him and say, take a seat, kid, it's going to piss everybody off. It's going to piss every fan off. It's going to piss off everybody that watches this team. Everybody on the broadcast is saying the same thing post-game. They're like, what are we doing? And I want to come on here and have a little bit of analytic data to back it up. But come on, people, use your eyes. Like, how much longer are we going to go through this same thing? And people are talking about how, well, it's only been 7 games. You can't make any assumptions. It's not been 7 games. It was all of 2023 and 7 games.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at this whole series in the big picture, this team lost 2-1. They got outscored 19-2 in a series, scoring 2 runs over 3 games, giving up over 6 runs a game in the series as well. I think this pitching aspect is being overlooked a little bit as well. You have Davis Schneider and Ernie Clement come in here and hit a home run every at-bat. You might not be winning some of these games anyway. I mean, looking at Chris Bassitt again, struggled a little bit again today, going 4 1/3 innings, 9 hits given up, 4 earned runs, 3 strikeouts with 3 walks. Yordan Alvarez is this guy just owns Chris Bassitt. Every at-bat Yordan had off Chris Bassitt, he was smoking baseball. So again, I'm going to give Chris Bassitt the benefit of the doubt on this one is because most of the damage done was by Yordan Alvarez to Chris Bassitt. But when you get into the bullpen, I mean, you got Nate Pearson, you got Tim Meza absolutely giving up a meatball to Jose Altuve's launching that into the seats. Just a tough matchup. I mean, a good team within the Houston Astros, but 19-2. Looking at the run differential, this Blue Jays team is giving us a lot to worry about. You're not getting amazing pitching. Again, it's tough. I mean, you're scoring 2 runs in a 3-game set. You're not going to win a lot of games that way anyway. I think that's why this pitching is getting a little bit more slack because this pitching has shown that it can be good. The hitting hasn't really given us much, and we're continuing to see it, and it doesn't get any easier with the New York Yankees coming up.
You know what? I sort of disagree. This pitching shouldn't be getting flack because if this, offense had a pulse, it maybe invigorates them. But it's hard to come into a 4-0 game in the 6th inning, and we don't have a hit on the board yet. As a pitcher, you're like, well, it doesn't really matter what I do up here. This game's over. So I think just as a mentality thing, it's impossible to come into this game as a bullpen pitcher and expect your teammates to back you up when they haven't proven anything. So you come in and you're like, well, if I give up 4 runs, it doesn't matter anyway. So I think just a mentality sake, it's impossible impossible as a bullpen pitcher to come in and throw your best stuff when you know on the other side of the ball, these guys aren't giving you what we need.
Well, my argument to that is they did it all of last season and they looked really good doing it all of last season.
Yeah.
So again, this major offense, or this major problem on this team is the offense. At the end of the day, it is the offense. You could have Cy Young on the mound. He's going to throw you 9 scoreless. It's a tie baseball game. It doesn't matter how good your pitchers are if you're getting 2 runs over 3 games. If you're getting 1 hit in game 1 and game 3 combined in this series. And it's so frustrating because we talk about how we didn't re-sign Matt Chapman. We didn't re-sign Whit Merrifield. These guys help this team. No, they don't. The biggest problem is that this team is not going out and getting the free agents that are actually going to help and contribute to this team. I wanted the Toronto Blue Jays to get Jorge Soler, JD Martinez, or Rhys Hoskins. Didn't get any of those players. And these are players that can hit for power. These are players that are going to have high averages. Maybe you're sacrificing a little bit of the bank account. Maybe you're sacrificing a little bit of defense. But maybe you'll score more than 2 runs in a 3-game set. And I think that's the problem with what we saw from this Blue Jays front office, that we've seen it. Like, we know that they can spend money. They're in on Shohei Ohtani. They're in on Cody Bellinger. They're in on these big contracts. But then there's contracts that are going for $10 to $15 million per year, and they're not making these signings. You bring in Justin Turner, great. He's been our best hitter so far in the regular season, but he can't do it all himself because so far what we had on this Blue Jays team has not been producing, and it's starting to make me think, why are we getting excited when we have the same team as last year and nothing's changed and we're seeing the same thing? So it's tough to get excited for me as a Blue Jays fan, but the good thing is you have this pitching staff. They're going to keep you in a lot of games. We're going to have a chance to win a lot of games. That's why the Blue Jays have such a nice floor, but we really need to figure out this offense. And I think after this, in the second segment, we'll get into why we do think this offense is struggling, what they need to fix. Is it an approach thing? Is it just like who you have on the team? Is it their skill set? Is it their hitting? Is it their hitting coach and just coaching staff? We'll get into all that after this. Today's episode sponsor is eBay Motors. Take care of all your vehicular maintenance needs with our partner, eBay Motors. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more, whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your vehicle, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your partner's guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. I know I brought this story up a bunch of times on the podcast, but I was one of the first ones in my grade to get this little minivan I had. Always driving around all my friends. It was nice to have that thing. It was like an '01 Pontiac Montana. So it was running on its last little fumes once I was driving it around, but it was very nice to have eBay Motors, their help preventing a little bit of rust, some parts from just wearing out over time, a very obviously old vehicle. So eBay Motors helped me keep my ride on the road for a very long time, and they can help you guys as well. So whether it's a new spoiler, brakes, or alternator, like I said, you guys can use eBay Motors. So just keep your ride or die alive. Just go to ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available for U.S. customers.
And today's episode brought to you by Game Time. As you guys know, I'm a huge Game Time supporter. I love their services. I've been to Jets games, MLB games, and of course, I always use Game Time because I get usually it's at discounted prices. It's usually like the tickets are way cheaper. I usually get to see and pick my seat. I actually get the view from the seat, which I love because I know, okay, am I too high up? Am I too low? Sometimes you can't see the action if you're too close. Sometimes you're too high up and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm, looking at ants right now. So that's why I love the viewing your seat option. And they have just amazing deals. If they have their flash deals, their last minute deals where you can save up to 60% off buying last minute tickets for sports, concerts, comedy, theater, sort of whatever you need. They also have zone deals, which is very cool as well. You can save even more when you choose a section and let Game Time choose the seat, which is sort of interesting because if you don't really care, what a section, but you don't really care exactly where you sit, this is a great option. And they have all-in pricing. Toggling this feature shows you the total upfront with no surprises at the end. They have a lowest price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. For a limited time, all users can get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more in the Game Time app with First Pitch. Terms apply. That's code FIRSTPITCH for $20 off from March 25th to April 14th only. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed. Carter, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I went to work today and I was talking a lot, probably too much, saying, "Oh, the Jays beat the Astros" to my one coworker because he's an Astros fan. I had some of the Blue Jays guys at work backing me up. We were sort of having some fun with it. And tomorrow I am going to get absolutely rolled because this was horrendous. Us Blue Jays fans going to work tomorrow, if there's any other fans of any other team working with you, they are going to let you know just how poor this performance was. And I will be in that because I will be getting rolled tomorrow. And I'm just preparing mentally for it. I'm ready. I might have to put out a tweet or something to make sure everybody knows my mental health is still somewhat intact, even though it's dwindling. Carter, the hitting. What is going on? In your opinion, the biggest takeaway looking at some of these at-bats these guys are having, what do we do? What are they supposed to do?
So I was trying to look for just whether it was like an approach problem, whether it was just maybe the skill of these players. Maybe these players just weren't what we were thinking of. But I was looking, and I think the only thing that I saw is that it seems like we're having a very aggressive approach at the plate, and we are swinging early in the count, which is good. I think it's good for this team to be aggressive. But it's seeming like, I don't know if Framber Valdez obviously is a very good pitcher. Christian Javier and Blanco obviously no-hit us. Only in his 8th start, though, a less proven guy. So maybe that guy is going to be our prime Cy Young. Maybe Roy Halladay, Doc, our guy. Maybe he's turning one of those. But I don't necessarily think that is the case. I think these are good pitchers, but I don't think the Yankees ran all over them. So clearly they're not unhittable. I think the problem is that we're swinging at pitches that are on the corners or maybe just out of the strike zone too early in the count, and it's leading to just us rolling over the ball or making very weak contact. I think if we can sort of do what we were doing a little bit today in getting Christian Javier to get his pitch count up a little bit. I know he did struggle with his command a little bit in this game, having, I believe it was 5 or 6 walks, something like that. Obviously, the Blue Jays did not take advantage. But what I want to see in the future is, especially lower in this lineup, when you guys got guys like Varsho, Kirk, these players that are having a little bit more trouble offensively. I want them to take more pitches, get deeper into counts, and swing at pitches that cover more of the plate, pitches that they can do more damage on. Maybe we see them hitting some gaps, getting hard hit balls. Didn't really see a lot of barrels. I saw a lot of weak contact. And obviously, weak contact is not going to result in a lot of Blue Jays hits. So that's something I would like to see them resolve, hopefully as soon as this New York Yankees series, because watching these baseball games with these lacking hit numbers and these lacking hit totals, it's getting a little bit boring to watch Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Yeah, I'm yawning over here. Like I could have threw on a movie. I was watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia before this, just because, and I was having a blast. I was laughing. I haven't watched the whole season through. I turn on the Blue Jays game, expect to have a good old time, and then I'm sitting on the couch wondering, should I just go back and turn on some TV show because nothing's going on? It's just frustrating. And when I look at these at bats, it's just, I don't want to say it's a lack of caring, but sometimes you can see it in the way these guys show up to the plate. And I don't know if it's an approach thing more so, or it's a heart thing. You should be getting very, very frustrated by this point of not hitting the baseball. Show some emotion, show something so that the fans know that you're not happy with this either. But you're the rest of them, I saw them after the game sitting in the dugout, just sitting there. Like it's not anger. It's maybe some sadness, maybe some upsetness, but show it. Get angry, get upset, get into the game. That's what I need to see. I can't stand watching guys walk back to the dugout after a strikeout or a ground ball and they're just jogging off the diamond. Show some emotion. Show that you care. Like there's some players, don't get me wrong, that are over the top. My favorite player was over the top, Josh Donaldson. He was over the top. He was nuts. I loved it, though. I would much rather see you lose your mind, get upset when you're having a bad game, than walk off the diamond like nothing's happened to you. This team needs some more heart. And I fully believe that. I said that in the offseason. We need some heart. And it's showing right now. We don't have heart.
So you're looking for Joey Votto to come back up from injury and maybe like smash some Gatorade, some cans on the bench, or maybe like break some bats over his knees, something like that.
Something.
Blue Jays hyped up.
Yeah, something. I don't care what it is. Just show some heart.
Vlad's got to throw his batting helmets on the field. Maybe get the boys going somehow. Maybe get in some of those loony hot dogs when they come back to Toronto on those Tuesdays. Maybe you can get something. They need something here because something's clearly not working. One thing I did notice in the Ronald Blanco game, obviously where we got no hit, is that he was throwing a lot of off-speed pitches as well. And this is where I would like to see them use that approach where they can take more pitches early on in the at-bat, take these off-speed pitches and just sort of work out a game plan, have their approach. Obviously, you're going to have an approach going in every game. Clearly, it's not working, and they're not making these adjustments. Throughout that Blanco game, he kept throwing change-ups, curveballs early in the count, and they're just rolling over, getting weak contact. You can make the adjustment, know he's going to throw a change-up curveball early in the count and then go high heat later. You can sit on one of the off-speed pitches. You can sit on the fastball, hopefully do some more damage because clearly what they're doing is not working, and it's ridiculous that if they're not changing their approach, clearly you're going to get the same result. So something's got to change, and I hope it's an approach thing because if we have to watch these at-bats for the entirety of 2024, this is going to be a very long season.
I will throw in a little bit of a caveat to the watching pitches and stuff. I 100% agree with you. When you're struggling at an at-bat, watch a few pitches. Just watch a couple. Sit there. No, you're not going to swing. Tape the bat to your shoulder. I don't care. Take a pitch. Just see it. Just get in the zone and feel it. The other thing is, going to the Blanco game, he didn't throw that changeup prior to this year. Or not a ton. So that might have been something new, and he was throwing a lot of them. So that might have caught them off guard. Not saying that they should have been no hit that game, because that's ridiculous. But it does throw a little bit of a wrinkle into the game when there's a pitch maybe that, you game plan for, and it's not, and your game plan has to be thrown out the window. So a little bit I do understand that way, but you still got no hit. You still should have to be able to adjust. Look a few. I don't care if it's a, your first two pitches of the at-bat, if your bat's taped to your shoulder, and then you got to shorten the swing because it's an 0-2 count, I'd much rather you see the pitch and try to go after it, especially when you're struggling. When you're struggling, you got to watch a few.
At the absolute worst case scenario, you have a guy that's absolutely throwing gas. And if you're watching a few pitches, at the bare minimum, you're getting his pitch count up. So at least he has to throw more pitches. You're seeing more strikes. Your team's you're allowing your team to analyze his pitch mix, what he's throwing, how it's breaking, how it's moving, what his approach is, and giving you a better chance to have a better at-bat upcoming in your game. So again, we got the Yankees coming up. This Astros series, something to forget, I think, for Toronto Blue Jays fans. Braden, you got anything else to add about this Houston Astros series with the Jays?
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say. It's frustrating. And I think all the fans are this. I was on Twitter today, and, I got into an argument over NHL stuff too on Twitter, because why not? So if you want to see me go argue with people about baseball and hockey, Braden 5 Wasco, Carter First 2, the MLB stuff today, like the Jays stuff, I was just, I'm not holding back. It's not like I'm a super big analyst for one of these crazy networks. I'm a fan. And when I'm upset, I'm going to, for good or bad, I'm going to let people know about it. And you're the same way, I know, which is the way it's supposed to be, right? I can't stand these people that come on and they're supposed to be the unbiased opinion or whatever. And that's why I think our shows are great. That's why I think Locked On is awesome, because you get to know the fans. You're a fan with fans. That's what I think the great part about this. There's nobody saying that you can't be upset, which is fantastic. And I think we've shown that we are upset. But no, we do want to talk a little bit about some other stuff coming up here in this third segment. We won't do a huge preview on the series. We'll save that for tomorrow because it is a Blue Jays off day. Maybe we'll look into right away just sort of what these guys should do having this off day, Carter.
Yeah, they could maybe take the edge off a little bit. Maybe they need to have a little bit of a boys' night out. Maybe indulge in a few beverages. Just get the morale up. Something's got to give. Maybe they got to have a little finding of themselves. A little just a spiritual event. Maybe just something's got to change. They got to go out. They got to just get after it.
Carter, I try to find myself every weekend. Doesn't help me a whole lot.
I don't think the fans want to know how you're trying to find yourself. Hopefully they try to find themselves in different ways. But we'll get into more Blue Jays talk coming up.
Come on.
Today's episode sponsor is PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the largest daily fantasy sports platform in North America. They are the easiest and most exciting way to play fantasy sports because it's just you against the numbers. You can pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. So I've been hammering PrizePicks recently, doing a little bit of NHL, but mostly moving on to the MLB. I did take the last couple days off of PrizePicks. I didn't have that FanDuel bet rolling in. Unfortunately, Vladdy cannot hit a home run for me. And normally give you guys my PrizePicks, my over-unders for the upcoming games, but the Blue Jays do have an off day. So I'm going to advise you to take the day off as well, actually. But coming up for the New York Yankees series, hammer every single Toronto Blue Jays under offensively, no matter what it is. That is my advice. Under bases, under hits, under home runs, under runs in the game. The Toronto Blue Jays have a good pitching staff, and they do not have a good offense, obviously. So, I mean, unless you want to bet on some NHL, there are some cool NHL over-unders you could use, more than, less than. But as for Toronto Blue Jays baseball, you're going to have to stay away from it because they do have an off day. But with PrizePicks, if you guys want to double your money, triple your money, turn $10 into $1,000, download the app today and use Locked On MLB for a first deposit match up to $100. That's code Locked On MLB for a first deposit match up to $100.
My bets didn't go well today. I had 3 bets going. One of the things got postponed, one of the games, and then the Phillies lost, so that screwed me. And then I got the Kings and the Canucks tonight. That's going well, so I might win one. I might go 1 for 3 today, which I think it ends up putting me back at even. Like, it was a garbage bet, but hey, we're staying even. We love it. I'll take that as a win, I guess.
PrizePicks more than less than, just go more than petty points. That's probably gonna hammer that over pretty often. Jets losing, if you want to bet that, that's probably a nice bet to have right now. They're not
it's not been
good recently.
No, well, they got Calgary tomorrow. That'll be an interesting game. Or today,
they got to win one to get back on the winning track. But as for this Toronto Blue Jays team, Braden, we're just looking at the bullpen a little bit here. Nate Pearson went in today, looked okay. It didn't really help Chris Bassitt out too much. Given a little bit of a pleasant surprise so far. Mitch White actually has looked good in that Tampa Bay Rays series. Again, I'm not taking a ton of merit from that because he was in when it was like 8-2. And the at-bats are a whole lot different in those type of games than they are competitive in the start of a game when the game is still competitive and within reach. Just looking at like IKF. IKF was our best pitcher in that game against the Houston Astros. And obviously, they weren't very competitive at-bats. So I don't think we want IKF starting against his former team in the Yankees. But hopefully we don't have to use him too much more in the season.
Yeah, no. And I mean, Tim Mays has been a letdown for me so far this season. I don't think he's been at his best. But he's a guy that I can see picking it up. He's a bit of a hot and cold guy, as we've known over the past bunch of years. So I think he'll be fine. It's just not his best start to a season, I'll say. But honest to God, I know we've touched on this. I don't believe that Bassitt had as bad of a day as the numbers necessarily say. I think just Jordan beat him, and Jordan beats a lot of pitchers, so that's just how it is. But not as bad of a day as honest to God, think the numbers are. I do want to get into a little bit of something, Carter. I know we touched on the last segment with the off day, but the off day being today, I think, comes at a perfect time for this team. It's been 3 bad games, more probably, but 3 bad games in a row, and it's sort of great. But now what do you think that this team's going to be doing in this off day, or what do you think they should do? Do you think it should be a rest day, chill out, get your mind off baseball, or should this be, boys, we got to work on some stuff?
I think it's boys, we need to work on some stuff because from those at-bats that I was seeing in some of these games in this Astros series, they need to work on a lot of things. It's they weren't making good contact at all. And obviously, if you're not barreling up a baseball, you're not going to send it too far. So I don't know if it's just some team bonding what they need. Maybe they do need a little bit of a mental reset. I think if they can just kind of grind in the batting cages together, maybe just throw on some music or something, get the jams going. But I do think they do need a little bit of a mental reset, but I don't think it's away from baseball necessarily. I think they still have to do something baseball related because they still have to stay in the game and in the in this right state of things in the early days of the opening season. the opening weeks of the season. But as for what they have to do, just baseball related, get in the batting cages, figure out how to hit baseballs, because I'm tired again of watching these poor at-bats. They got to figure something out, and that is top to bottom. That's not just the bottom guys like Kevin Kiermaier who's struggling, or Alejandro Kirk. Vladdy can be a lot better, but Bichette has actually had, I know it's 7 games, but it hasn't been a good start to the season. So just maybe a little bit of team bonding, work on the offense, figure out their approaches, maybe stay with the coaches, or who knows, maybe they go with Pete Walker and he shows them how to have a good time.
Jeez, come on, guy. That's ridiculous. Oh my
Definitely
goodness.
take the edge off of things if they go that route.
That'd be stay off the roads, boys. Oh my goodness. That's crazy. I love it. I agree with you. I think that this team needs to stay in the zone. They got some stuff to work on. I think they know that. I think a manager that maybe hasn't been in the league too long might make the decision of, hey, go get away, take a day, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm praying to God that that's not what Schneider does. I think you're 100% right. Throw on some music, get the I don't even care if it's a pitching machine. Get it rolling out there and just have it, just fire balls. Just get the boys switching off in the cage, hitting some balls. Sort of have that feeling where everybody's out on the field together and you're just swapping in and out. Some guys are joking around. Some guys got, they're listening to the music, whatever it is. I think that's not a bad off day. Just get the feel of the baseball, get the feeling of hitting the baseball, get the feeling of watching some pitches, something.
I think you get Zach Eflin in there because they were launching off Eflin pretty well, and then you just you tone down the velo a little bit, and you make them throw 70, but it's Zach Eflin stuff, and they just launch baseballs to get the morale up. Maybe they do it that way. They just get some power in their at bats there, and maybe for Vladdy, you get him back at a AAA ballpark. Maybe you just have him in or one of those like Apple Vision things or the VR stuff, and he can just pretend like he's hitting at the Bison's park there every single time he's out there at an at bat. Because in 2021, in that Buffalo Dunedin's park, he looked unbelievable, and we're still looking to catch that Vladdy back. We do see some sparks once in a while, that 450-foot home run, but it would be nice to see Vladdy hitting for power more consistently. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe that is the VR at the in the box there, but hopefully we just need more Toronto Blue Jays offense. And again, the broken record's coming out, but it's the same problem we've been having since the start of, honestly, 2023. It hasn't changed, and hopefully something can change and something will bring the Toronto Blue Jays offense more runs.
I just want to point something out before we do a sign off or whatever. If you see on today's show, like the lineup, it says just Payne. I sort of love that. I don't know why. I just want to give myself a little bit of props. I think that's hilarious. But no, again, like we said, we're on Twitter constantly. Braden 5 Uwasco, Carter First 2. You can check us out on Instagram and TikTok, Locked On Blue Jays as well. We really appreciate it if you guys drop a subscription. I think it's been getting better. A lot more of you guys that are watching are subscribed, but it's still like 70%. So drop the sub, helps us, puts our feed at the top of your guys' feed, so you can see all the Blue Jays news, all of our reactions, and hopefully we'll do another live because we had a blast there. I keep talking about it because it was a ton of fun. And when we do that, we'll make sure to tell you guys well in advance so that you guys can join us and just keep up to date. We'll have posts if anything crazy goes down in the off day that we see. Other than that, Carter, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I'll end it off with two things. First off, I'm going to throw it over to our Locked On 24/7 streaming channel. NFL free agencies going on. Stephon Diggs gets sent to the Texans. That was a huge trade that happened. March Madness obviously going on. NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs. Canucks are playing right now. Looks like they're up on LA, so a big win for them. But if you guys want to check out any other sports-related content, just go to the Locked On Sports Today channel on YouTube. It's 24/7 if you want to tune in at 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Whatever time you want to digest your sports content, just head over to that streaming channel and subscribe. As for the Toronto Blue Jays, thank God, honestly, there's an off day. I don't think I need a little bit of a mental break watching this offense. Hopefully they can, like I said, have some sort of awakening, figure it out, hopefully launch off the New York Yankees.
I was about to text my boss tomorrow and tell her that I might need a mental health day. That's about where I was at.
That doesn't sound like a bad idea because, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, you're looking at this team. We're 3-4. it could be a lot worse. I don't feel like we're not playing great baseball right now. And going 3-4 against the Rays and the Astros, not the worst thing. The better times are ahead, I believe, for the Toronto Blue Jays, because it can't really get much worse offensively right now.
No. You know what? We want to thank you guys a bunch for watching. I might load up MLB The Show and pick the Blue Jays as my team, throw it on rookie, and just beat the crap out of the Houston
97
Astros.
nothing against the Yankees.
Yeah, something. I might.
Nestor Cortez throw those guys. Marcus Stroman, I think we see him coming up. So it's going to be an interesting series. But we'll get more into that next episode. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you guys tomorrow.